Sounds good.
Lovely. All right. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Lucy from the Career Development Centre, and I'm delighted to welcome OceanaGold to our Virtual Science and Tech Expo. And thank you to all you students for joining us. It's great to see you, or not see you, just as the case may be. So OceanaGold is a multinational gold producer with a commitment to the highest standard of technical, environmental and social performance. And today we're very lucky to have Sally Harrison, who's a short-term planner in the open pit gold mine at Macraes, and Becky Brunger from HR. So Sally holds a BSc in Earth Sciences and an MSc in Mining Engineering, but she actually started her career as an exploration geologist. So she got into mining by doing a summer placement. So that's, that's potentially a road for you. She did send me a lot of information, which I'm not going to read because it's not, it's not about my voice, it's about you. So Sally, if you're ready, take it away.
Cool. Well, good morning, everyone. So as Lucy said, I'm the short-term planner up at the open pit in the, just up the road from you guys. So basically my job is working with operations to make sure everything runs smoothly. So do a lot of design work, do a lot of planning, and a sort of the middleman between operations and all the machinery, the technical team, so all the geologists, the survey team, and the engineers, and then the plant as well, so making sure what we're delivering is what they want. So I've been doing this for about 2.5 years now. Prior to this, well, going back to the beginning, so I did a BSc because I had no idea what I wanted to do, so I sort of took a little bit of this and a little bit of that and sort of hoped for the best, really, but it actually turned out really well. So I did geology, I did some soils papers, I did some geochemistry, and sort of from there I was able to sort of travel the world for 10 years as an exploration geologist. Worked in Indonesia in the jungle, which was amazing. Did a bit of work in Australia in the outback, and that was pretty cool. And then lived in Africa for a couple of years in Zambia, and that was just incredible. And then moved to the UK because I realised that mining was sort of something that I wanted to do. I went to University at Exeter and went to the Camborne School of Mines and did 18 months there, and it just opened my eyes to mining and what it was all about. It wasn't just about sort of producing gold bars and moving dirt, it was the global markets, design and innovation, technology, environment legislation, market trends. It was just, I don't know, I just realized that I could actually make a career out of mining. So yeah, and then as I said, I came here and have been working ever since. Yeah, so moving on to Macraes. So as some of you may or not be aware, we've got 4 active mines around the world. So we've got Didipio in the Philippines, we've got Hale in South Carolina, and we have 2 mines in New Zealand. We've got a closure project, so you don't really close a mine, it's sort of like this ongoing process. So we've got the Reefton project as well, so that's sort of something that we take on for say 15 years, so that's ongoing. We also have a few fingers and a few pies in terms of a global presence and exploration. So Nevada's a huge gold mining area, and we've also got opportunities in South America as well. And then we've got offices in Melbourne, Brisbane and Denver. So just a little bit more about our mines. So as I said, we've got Hale in South Carolina. So this is an open pit operation that through lots of further drilling and exploration, we're sort of seeing that transition into an underground mine. And so at the moment, that's got a life of mine to 2030. So just with a little bit of mining is that you can only plan for as long as, or how much gold you've got. So for each of our deposits, you sort of live off these plans. So as I said, Hale's got a life of mine till 2030. Didipio in the Philippines, so that's a really big producer for us. So that's a copper, gold and silver mine, and at the moment that's got a life of mine to 2030. But we've basically got stockpiles of ore in the Philippines for the next 9 years ready to go without even mining anything. So huge production environment there. We've got Waihi in the middle of the town up there, so that's the big hole in the ground. But we also have the underground operation as well, which is currently undergoing development. So the current life of mine there that we've got there is 2019. So at the moment, we're not actually running, we're just drilling to the next deposit. And so that will be commencing early next year. And then we've got Macrae's down the South Island. So we've got a life of mine to 2027. But with further drilling, we'll see that blow out as well. We're very lucky as that in Waihi and both Macrae's, we've got a couple of really exciting long-term mines in the pipeline. So there's definitely life beyond 2027 for us. So this is just a bit corporate, but I think it's sort of important to touch on. It's about sort of who we are as a business and what we're about. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's about, you know, making money, keeping our shareholders happy, having sort of an effective organisation to make sure that what we have in place, people sort of buy into it, and also having the mines to operate. So having those high quality assets that are going to make us money, and also that are long-term projects that aren't just these short-term things that we just hop all over the world for. And so that sort of leads on into who we are as a company and sort of our vision, our values, our people and value creation. So basically we want to be the best gold producer in the world. So currently we're a mid-tier mining company, so that determines your market cap. So for us, it's about broadening our horizons, drilling out our existing resources and looking for new ones. We sort of live by a set of values. So you speak to anyone around here, you speak to anyone in the Philippines, and they can sort of tell you about our values. So that's integrity, teamwork, respect, innovation, accountability, and action. So that's sort of who we are and what drives us as a company. But aside from that, it's about operating safely, looking after our communities, and just keeping our environmental impact to a minimum. And so the next step is sort of our people. So first of all, finding the people that want to work here, looking after them and developing them, because without the people you can't operate. And then it moves on to the 6 pillars. So what actually drives us as a company? So you've got to have the natural resources, you've got to have the gold, the silver, the copper in the ground, and you've also got to have the people to work there. But you've got to have the intellectual people and the people that provide the innovation, the collaboration and the teamwork. And then it's sort of the business side, so at all levels. So you've got to move those projects from exploration, mining, and then you've got to be able to process what we're producing. And then it's the social investment. So at the moment, the biggest risk in mining is social license to operate. So in New Zealand, how the government perceives us, how the public perceives us. So it's about educating everyone and making sure that we're as transparent and we're saying what we do. So those are sort of the critical parts to our business. So just moving on to this one about, so within New Zealand, we don't actually have a huge presence in terms of, we're not forestry, we're not farming, we're not construction, sort of we're mining. And for a relatively small industry within New Zealand, we contribute 1% to GDP. So that's huge. And so for the 20 mines that might operate in New Zealand and employs less than 5,000 people, we sort of have a huge impact on GDP, but also our local communities. So these predominantly come from gold, coal and titanomagnetite, which is the iron sands near Waiuku. So that's export for steel. So the next point is it's a highly regulated industry governed by the Crown Minerals Act, the RMA and local and district councils. So we have to be part of the local and district plans, though the local people actually they need us to be there and they want us to be there. So we need to be incorporated in those plans. there's huge changes all the time in terms of the RMA, so we're very restricted for what we can do, and so we need to operate within those restrictions. And then we've got the Crown Minerals Act, so that basically is our governing document for what we can and can't do. So really we're sort of accountable at all levels, so local, district and national. And what else have we got? And so for us is that with huge population drives and the drive for technology is that we sort of need to keep up with the play in New Zealand. And I suppose it's a bit of Kiwiana is that, you know, we need to be quite innovative in what we do. So Macrae's has been running for 30 years and the gold price sort of boom and busts all the time, but we've been able to keep on going. And so it's just been able to adapt to change and innovate where we need to, and incorporating technology and incorporating the know-how for what we have and listening to the people and finding better ways to do it. I mean, down here, we, in terms of production, we are one of the cheapest mines in the world in terms of producing gold. Our cost per tonne is the lowest in the world, in the Western world, so we must be doing something right. And also just the last point there is that kind of see that all these mines have expiration dates, but they don't really, is that, you know, we've got all these untapped resources within New Zealand. So as times change and demands grow and markets change, we'll definitely see a bright future for mining. And with us keeping up with the play in terms of environmental restrictions, government restrictions, is that it's our job to mine safely and environmentally consciously to make sure that, you know, we're doing the right thing for everyone. So the next part, so Macrae's, who are we? So we've been running just shy of 30 years. So we're a gold mine only. So we have an open pit and underground operation. And we run 20 dump trucks. We run 5 36-tonne diggers. And then we have underground mining fleet as well. And I'm not quite sure what they have down there, but in terms for a small mine, we have a lot of machinery. So the next part of this is just to give you guys a bit of a taster, is that we're actually looking for young new blood to come and work with us. So pre-lockdown, we were going to run a winter program and have students come up and just spend, say, 4 weeks with us between terms or semesters, just to give you a taste of what we're about. So you'd go underground, you'd spend some time in a dump truck, spend some time in projects, just get full exposure to the business. But now, once the COVID level dies down, we'll sort of be looking to do that towards the end of the winter. I think, Becky, if that's right.
Yeah, we're just looking to see if we can come up with an alternative, given you know, we had to cancel our midwinter program, so we might do a sort of a shorter experience at sort of the end of winter. It's just an idea at the moment that we're floating with the right people. So you know, just if you're interested, just register on our careers page and keep an eye out for that. But hopefully we can get something off the ground. If not, as Sally will probably mention, we do run a summer program, which is the same thing, but just in the summer instead.
Cool. So just moving on to what Becky said, is that we're going to run a summer program, which we basically bring students up and you're part of the crew, you work with us, but aside from that is that we will give you a project based on your strengths and weaknesses and what you're actually interested in. So if you want to work underground with drill and blast, there's sort of opportunities to do that. If you want to work in open pit for maybe an optimization study, you know, there's avenues for there. So we sort of understand that New Zealand doesn't produce mining engineers, but as an ex-geologist myself, is that we're kind of lucky that there's an opportunity for the thinkers to come through and work with us. So you might have a geological background, but you might be really interested in, you know, working underground and doing stope optimization, so working with engineers and doing some design work, or there'll be an opportunity to work in projects and perhaps work on our water management plan if that's something that you wanted to do as well. There's also, Otago has a really good geology department, so there's opportunities there to work between the engineers and the geologists about understanding the ore body. So at the moment we're working on hardness of the ore and the variation with depth, so that's proving very interesting for our processing plant friends. So in terms of coming to work with us, there's definitely something for everyone. And so, yeah, so moving on to that's basically the end of year internship. So making you part of the team and basically giving your job, but also doing the projects that we can't. So as part of that sort of moving forward into your career is that there's sort of ongoing training all the time. So I'm working towards my quarry manager certificate. So basically I want to be the mine manager. So there's plenty of personal development to be working towards there. But if that's not quite your cup of tea, there's sort of some technical software training, which if you came to work with us and that was required, you would receive that training and you could take that anywhere. And there's also the sort of health and safety side of things as well, depending on where your role was. So beyond the summer program, there's actually the graduate program as well, which is basically the 2-year structured program, which you'd find in most industries anyway. So yeah. So what that basically looks for you is that would give you a 2-year contract. We're very lucky as that Oceana runs half-yearly bonus systems. So that's based on targets that you need to meet or development that you need to try out and, you know, add value to the company. There's also a bus service as well. So you don't need to be driving up from Dunedin every day. You just jump on the bus. And if you're an international student, we'll help you out with your visas. So this is sort of a Monday to Friday sort of role, but depending where you're placed, you might actually go on some sort of roster. So the geology, they sort of run 8 days on, 6 days off, and the underground runs sort of 7 till 7, but sort of that would just depend on where you were. So yeah, if this sounds like sort of piquing anyone's interest, just have a look at our website and see what you think. And if not, we can get in touch with myself or Becky and we'll be able to help you out. Cool, so should we put on some questions if anyone's got any?
I had a question about OceanaGold's potential exploration in the rest of Otago.
Yep.
I noticed there's some potential tenements coming in the south, like Teviot and Maharangi. I was wondering if there was any interest in exploring those areas for maybe a mirror image of Hyde McRae's shear zone.
Yeah, we're sort of doing extensive, or at the moment, predominantly all our exploration is near mine, extending our existing resources. So as I mentioned earlier, we've got a project coming on, which is Golden Point. So that's a gold tungsten project. So at the moment, that's where all our resources are going. Once we get sort of better definition for that, it will be about broadening our horizons. So between Otago and also up in the Coromandel. So pre-COVID, there was extensive exploration happening up there as well.
Thank you.
We're sort of, what sort of in the mining world is, in terms of drilling and exploration, is mid-tier companies generally spend a lot of money on exploration because it's essential for those pipelines. So pre-COVID, you sort of had an exploration department of 25 people, which is very big for such a small company. So it proves that's quite exciting to be an exploration geologist for us.
Hi Sally, I got a quick question.
Hello.
I was just wondering if you were running your energy graduate program at the end of this year. I noticed you had one last year.
Yep, so we're definitely look at someone like that. We've brought someone on board this year, and so that's something that year on year that we'll be looking at doing.
Excellent, thank you.
Can you, Sally or Becky, can you tell us a little bit more about the Energy Grades program? I'm not aware of it, so if you could tell me a little bit more about what's involved, that'd be great.
So last year there was an energy grad student, so that's working between the projects and the plant. And since we're such a how do I put this? We use, in terms of our grinding of the ore, it's very requires significant amount of energy and off the grid. So just looking for opportunities beyond sort of the grid and moving forward into sort of perhaps more sustainable sources of energy. So last year they, I think not sure, but I think we have someone based down at the plant at the moment, and so they're sort of doing optimization studies within the plant, and sort of that brings on to the broader project. But there's also someone based in Waihi as well doing a similar project. So it's just creating a more sustainable energy source for us.
Great, thank you.
I might jump in and see if I can ask a question to the students, if that's okay. But it's quite our, you know, as Sally mentioned, our focus has predominantly previously been on mining engineers, and mining engineers, there's no opportunity to study that in New Zealand. The only way to study that is overseas. And we believe, or both Sally and I passionately believe, that we've got some really high quality New Zealand students and professionals, whether that's in, as Sally mentioned, in surveying, geology, engineering, that we believe you know, it's a missed opportunity for us, hence why we've started developing this program and wanting to speak to our New Zealand students and broaden the opportunity from mining engineers to just professionals who have great minds. As Sally's shared with you, she went from being an exploration geologist through to now studying to be a mine manager. So it's quite a different direction. But I guess my question for you guys is, it's quite easy for us, I guess, to sell the lifestyle opportunity to our Australian mining engineers. But my question for you guys is as New Zealand students, you know, we believe that we need to sell the industry. It's not a very well-known industry for New Zealanders. Certainly I lived and grew up and went to school in Otago and barely knew that the gold mine existed. So my question for you guys is does this pique your interest? Is gold mining something that's ever occurred to you? How would you see what you're currently doing fit into something like what we're offering? If anyone wants to share, then I'd be really, really keen to understand your thoughts.
Well, I'm definitely interested in the potential of a graduate program at OceanaGold. I'm actually a master's student, and my project is actually looking at the ore from the Fraser's underground workings. And I'd like to see if trying to extend that into doing more work with the company potentially.
Brilliant. Thanks, Harry.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm also an Otago student, and I am a geology student, sorry. I would be really interested in working for OceanaGold or any kind of mining company, but I just don't, it's quite hard to get into the business, I've found, just as an undergrad. I'm going on to do my honours soon, so hopefully that will help me, but yeah, just as an undergrad, it was quite hard finding anything out about jobs and whatnot. Hope that helps.
Yeah, no, that is really helpful. And from our point of view, we've had, I guess Sally can probably speak to it more, but we've had kind of random graduate opportunities. But I think this year has been the first year where we've really honed in and set up, I guess, a strategy, both from a marketing point of view and a program point of view, to really encourage and get those opportunities out to our New Zealand students. So hopefully you'll see and hear a bit more about OceanaGold. And the idea is that if, for example, you got an opportunity with Macrae's over the summer, we would then try and look to be able to get you an opportunity perhaps at Waihi over the next winter, and then perhaps somewhere else, so that you can have that kind of ongoing relationship. So hopefully, if we do our job right, you might see more opportunities, and we can open some more doors for you. Sally, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I was really lucky, I want to say 15 years ago, so I sound really old, but that's what I did, is I sort of did these placements up at the Waihi mine when it was Newmont, and for me that changed, that sort of cemented really the direction I wanted to go. And so I personally think it's really important that, one, you get a taster of what you're getting yourself into, but two, it's like that exposure to sort of the mining industry and all that it offers. Because as I said, like, you know, I thought it was just moving dirt and producing gold, but, you know, in terms of, you know, you're a geologist, Jamie, and, you know, I wanted to be, or I thought I wanted to be a geologist, and I sort of ended up taking a, you know, a little avenue from what I saw. And that's just that exposure is critical. So we definitely will be getting something happening across the board as well.
Yeah, I'm also an Otago student, a master's student in energy science, and I suppose I've taken, yeah, I've had my eye on Macrae's for a while because I'm aware that they're large energy users, and, you know, and local employers and that kind of thing. But I think really, I had a friend who works at Macrae's that actually sent me the PDF of the energy graduate program last year, and the timing wasn't right for me because I wanted to go on to masters basically. So yeah, so that's, I would be interested in that opportunity if it came around again, for sure.
Awesome, thank you.
Hey, I'm a undergrad in physics doing my third year.
Ooh.
I've never actually considered mining at all, but speaking with past students who graduated with just a bachelor's, they usually mention about finding jobs in engineering roles. So their engineering roles tend to be a bit more specialized, like within maybe a factory or magnet producing setting. So, but one of the concerns that most physics bachelors they tend to have is finding actually a job that's relevant to physics. And well, I feel that maybe OceanaGold might be able to offer a good avenue to most of these students that are available right now.
Awesome, thank you. Sally, your thoughts on that, having the physics background and what opportunity there are at OceanaGold?
Yeah, like it's a different realm of thinking really, but it's been, you know, sort of we can apply all aspects of physics, chemistry, biology to what we do here. It's not just, it's just not dead set. There's sort of a lot of room, and it's about finding your niche within the company and being able to sort of grow into a role as well. So incorporating your background, because I mean, it doesn't define you. You've got those skills. It's being able to apply them when you come and work for us. So yeah, you could definitely use those skills. I think also just something to mention is you come up here and not many people have got a mining qualification or a geology qualification. Everyone, there's sort of people here that had sort of past careers and past lives, and it's been able to bring those skills into the industry. So, you know, we've got everywhere from accountants who sort of can directly relate different numbers to our numbers, but we've got sort of our computer-based or our technology department is that, you know, guys used to work at NIWA and guys used to work for, one of our mining engineers actually worked for a GPS company in Auckland. We've got another guy that worked for, what's at the uni? I can't remember, but it's just a department of the university. So in terms of, you know, thinking that you've got like a physics degree or thinking that you've got a geology degree, is that it's, you know, been able to sort of apply those skills and your strengths into something else, and coming to work for us and applying them. So I just think that, you know, you might have, you might think that, you know, you've only got a physics degree, but I think it's sort of seeing beyond that and seeing a career in, you know, or giving, you know, mining a try. Or same with geology, is that, you know, you guys have been working really hard and studying, say, regional geology, and, you know, coming for us is that you guys are probably more of an expert than I was when I turned up, because I didn't know anything about the geology. So it's almost got like you guys have the upper hand. So definitely put a CV forward and apply for the positions that come forward, because sort of if you're just down the hill from us, you know, some of you guys know more than we do. But I think that's all from me, Becky.
Okay, well, on that note, can I just jump in and say that, you know, the Career Development Centre is here. For you, Sally and Becky, we're, you know, more than happy to help you promote your opportunities, your grad programs, whatever it is that you want. And for the students, we're here for you to help you with your applications. We give, you know, we've got lots of workshops on CVs and interview tips and getting your LinkedIn profile done. So just, you know, remember that for both sides, the Career Development Centre is here to help. So if there are no more questions, I think we could probably wrap that up. Just thank you very much to all of you for coming. It's lovely to see you. I don't remember whether I told you at the beginning that the session is recorded. We're recording all our expo sessions and they will be on Career Hub for 2 weeks afterwards as a resource for you all. So just so you're aware, you are being recorded. Sorry, I should have said that at the beginning. Thank you all for coming. It's lovely to see you, and yeah, good luck. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you guys so much. That was lovely. That was awesome. Becky, I'll be in touch.
Awesome. Thank you so
right.
much for having us, Lucy. I appreciate it.
Oh no, look, I appreciate the time. It's great. It's great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
you.
Okay. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.